Does your two-stroke have a hanging idle where it revs up really high and it's slow to settle, or when you twist the throttle, brum, it takes a lot longer for the RPM to settle down after you close the throttle instead of wham? This is a sign that the engine is running too lean because it's getting too much air or not enough fuel. So in this video, I want to share 6 common problems that can cause this hanging idle. The first cause is an air leak around the intake. This could be loose carb clamps. This could be the intake manifold is cracked, or gaskets or O-rings that are missing on the intake side of the engine. Because if air is leaking into the engine, then it's going to be getting too much air and not enough gas, which is causing that idle to raise up high or stay up high. You can test this by spraying something flammable like brake clean around the carb and the clamps and the intake manifold while the engine is idling. And if the idle changes, that means you got an air leak. Number 2 is a dirty pilot jet. When the pilot jet is dirty because it's been sitting and has some crud in it or some old varnish from old or bad gas, that hole is going to be slightly smaller and it doesn't take much, so it's not going to get enough fuel into the engine, causing it to run lean and have a hanging idle. Problem number 3 is the air screw is not properly adjusted, or maybe it fell out, so too much air is getting into the carb and into the engine. And to learn how to tune your air screw in just a few minutes, I got a free guide in the description below. Problem number 4 is if the pilot jet is too small. This is similar to having a dirty jet where the hole is too small and it's not supplying enough fuel. This will result in that hanging idle, and it'll probably be harder to start when the engine is cold, even with the choke. Problem number 5 is when the float height is too low. Because the float, it controls how much fuel is in the carb. So if there's not enough fuel in the carb, the engine is going to be starving of gas, causing it to run lean and get that hanging idle. And if you want to learn the proper way to adjust your float height, I got a video right here. And problem number 6 is not quite as common, but it's still possible if you've checked all these and they're still good, and that is the crank seals. Because on a two-stroke, the air and fuel mixture goes into the crankcase, and if the seals are leaking air from outside of the crankcase, the air is getting sucked in, it's going to cause it to run lean and potentially have that hanging idle. And if you want to find out if your pilot jet is running rich or lean, you should check out this video right here. I'm Kelly Fager from MX Hideout. Ride safe. Have fun.